Hello and welcome to Livewire Markets Fund in Focus. My name is Anna Dadic and today I'm joined by Mugunthan Siva, co-founder and CIO at India Avenue. He's going to be talking to us today about the India Avenue Active ETF and the opportunity that exists in investing in India right now. Mugunthan, thanks for joining us. So, first off, let's talk about why India and tell us about your firm.
Yeah, no, that's an interesting question because obviously India is quite narrow in most investors' thought processes. So when we look at India, we look at the fact that it is the world's fifth largest economy now. It's the world's fourth largest stock market. It has very unique demographics. So these are key aspects that went into our decision on why we set up a business around India. So today, the firm is 9 years on from its inception point in 2015. We set up our first fund in 2016, which was our core fund called the India Avenue Equity Fund. Fast forward to today, we have around 165 million of assets, and we've just recently launched an active ETF, which is essentially replicating our fund, but is available to a broader platform of investors. The firm was set up really with that mindset of providing knowledge, insight, information on India to a local client base of Australia and New Zealand. Most of the employees come from a background of ING investment management, where we work together either in Australia or in India together, and over that time, we've sort of accumulated about 100 years of collective experience on investing in India. So we sought to bring that together into a good investment and an efficient operational structure.
Excellent. So what is unique about the way you invest?
Today, we think the most important aspects of capturing the growth story is actually going further down the curve. And when I say the curve, I'm referring to market capitalization. So most global fund managers or emerging market or Asia fund managers will focus on the top 50 stocks because that's where you get liquidity, you get a lot of institutional ownership. For us, the secret to investing in India is actually finding some of those growth stories which are further down in the mid and small caps, which can provide not only access to just India growth, but also give you the opportunity to generate alpha outperformance, which we think is an important part of investing in the region.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so what is the opportunity that you have identified?
Essentially, India's demographics has 1.45 billion people with an average age of 29. Going forward, by the end of this decade, 25% of the global workforce will be of Indian origin. So that's 1 out of 4 people, essentially. This is going to set off a massive consumption over time. Today, GDP per capita is around $3,000. That can increase by close to double over this decade. And we think if you imagine, say, the US economy is a significant consumer, world's biggest economy, and you multiply this by 5 times, which is the Indian population, and even if India moves slightly in terms of increasing wealth, that's going to have a profound impact for consumption. So that's the first aspect. The second aspect is, okay, so how do I capture this demographics? How do I invest in it successfully? And we feel the best way to do that is to take a localized approach to it. What do I mean by that? We as a business have built a strong network in India. We have some of our employees there. We also have strong partnerships with local asset managers who provide advice to us to help us build portfolios. We also have exposure to brokers, regulators, government, and other market participants that really help to give us that insight into how we should invest in India, what parts of the economy we should have exposure to, what parts of the market we should have a high weighting to. For example, today in our fund, we have a high exposure to pharmaceuticals for specific reasons because we think it's going to become one of the growth engines of India. So you can only get this exposure through building a strong network on the ground.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so this is a compelling opportunity. Can you talk to more about how you're investing in it?
Depth is the key, and building a really strong franchise, which is based around, the people that are on the ground. So what we're doing, if you look at our structure, is we have presence in Australia to tell the story at depth. And in India, we've built a robust network so that Australians can essentially have India brought to them, or the best of the country brought to them via this dual structure. So that's how we seek to sort of capitalize on the benefits of investing in the region. We have a chart which kind of talks about India being 6,000 listed companies, the most in the world in terms of listing. 1,000 of those companies we think are investable, which will take you from Aussie 350 billion market cap at the largest company in India down to about 150 million Aussie market cap. Of those 1,000, we invest in about 70 companies based on our filtering process through the strength of our network that we've built in India. And the aim is to give Australian investors 70 companies where they're growing as an aggregate faster than the economy, but you're paying a cheaper valuation, let's say, than the market index.
So what are the key risks and how do you manage them?
Yeah, so anytime you're thinking about investing in a singular region, this is where investors start to worry about politics, geopolitics, currency, nuances of local regulation, local laws, business ethics, and so on. India is a very large stock market, but 40 to 45% of it is owned by local founders, promoters who have set up their businesses. So you really need to have a deep understanding of their business ethics, their desire, whether they want to progress the business and grow and get a better valuation, or are they there to fill their pockets with cash and perhaps underreport profits. So there is certain ways you can reduce risk through looking at better governance. Also, by building a network, you can understand peers of companies, suppliers to companies, consumers of the product, employees will give you feedback, so you can build that loop of information that helps you understand companies better. So these are some of the things that it's important to recognize is a risk, but also there are mitigants around it. I think the other thing is people are just not aware of the India story. So there's a fear factor that goes with, I don't quite understand it, or I don't know too much about it. So that can be mitigated somewhat by information, insight, knowledge, understanding. Currency is another thing when you're investing in a single country and you don't understand the Indian rupee and what are its forces, what are the things that impact it. For Australian investors, we actually feel a commodity importing currency can help to diversify their portfolios. And we have a chart on the fact that India and Australia actually have quite a low correlation. So for Aussie investors who are investing in Aussie dollars, it actually makes sense to, as odd as that might sound, to include part of their portfolio in a different currency to Australia or the US dollar, and India makes as much sense as anything else.
Okay, so can you talk more about what role does your fund play in a portfolio?
So typically it's for investors in wealth accumulation, superannuation phase, who are still adding to their wealth over the next 10, 15 years. Typically it'll be risk profiles which are considered balanced growth, high growth. And that is because India is a long-term structural story. It's not really an income producing or high yielding asset. It's more about capital gains. So I would say, a positioning in your equity portfolio at the sort of long horizon 5 to 7 year plus makes sense for a wealth accumulator.
Okay, great. And final question, where can people get more information about the fund?
So probably the best starting point is our website, which is indiaavenue.com.au. On our website, you'll find everything which is related to Invest Now, which includes PDS application forms. You can also subscribe for more information on our website. Secondly, LinkedIn is a great source for us where we put a lot of our information and research and notes and content on there. So in India Avenue Investment Management is our handle there. And I think CBOE, which is the exchange that our ETF trades on, is also a great way to understand a little bit more about active ETFs and about our ETF.
Okay, great. Fantastic, Mugunthan. Thank you so much for sitting down with us and sharing your insights. If you enjoyed that interview as much as I did, make sure to give it a like and subscribe to our YouTube channel where we release new content every week.